Hello, dreamers, doers, and achievers. I'm Tyson, your host, and I invite you to join me on a new adventure called Sharing Success with Tyson. Each week, we dive into the most inspiring stories of individuals who have transformed their dreams into reality. From the entrepreneurs who started from nothing to the artists who see the world differently, we share the journeys that inspire and motivate. Whether you're looking to ignite a long-held passion or find encouragement in your daily grind, Sharing Success with Tyson is your weekly dose of motivation. Together, let's redefine success and achieve the extraordinary. Hey guys, and welcome to Sharing Success episode 8. Today I'm super excited. We have Lynsey Mahoskey. Lynsey is the brains behind the Confident Content Creators podcast and Her Hive Social, which is a social media marketing agency in Northern Utah. She's on a mission to help parentpreneurs boost their sales using social media marketing while still making time for family. She's got an online networking group for entrepreneurs, and she even throws in-person networking events in Northern Utah. Lynsey's goal is to teach you simple marketing strategies and help you understand the algorithm so you can attract and land your ideal clients while staying true to yourself online. Lynsey is great. I met her not too long ago when I went to one of her events, and she's a rock star. She is somebody that has a lot of knowledge to share with other people, so I'm super excited to have her on the podcast. Stay tuned, guys, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being here, Lynsey. I'm so excited to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did the intro where I introduced you, but I want to go in depth a bit more. So I would love if you could tell me just about your background and kind of what's led you to where you are in your journey today.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Everyone always asks, why social media? Because
Yeah.
it's like the bane of everyone else's existence. But I actually truly love it. Social media has had a special part of my life in both personal and professional development over the last 12 years now or so. I mean, I think we all started back in the MySpace days when you could pick your own song to be playing when it goes on the thing. So, yeah, so my official social media journey though started after I had my firstborn. He just turned 11, so this is 11 years ago.
Yeah.
I got on Instagram for the very first time, and it was more so a way to share pictures of my kid and life and things like that. But then I dove really hard into Pinterest, and I was trying to find all of the different hacks for baby stuff and mom life and everything in between. And I was seeking a community. I was really trying to find myself and anybody who understood being a mom, because I was a first-time mom and I didn't know what I was doing, and all my mom's advice felt like dinosaur advice. No offense, Mom. I love you. But I was like, I don't want to read the books. I want to know what's hip now. And so that's kind of what launched me into my journey. And from there, I actually started my own mommy blog, and I started Pinteresting and doing all of the things. And one thing led to another, became an influencer, grew a pretty decent following, and then decided one day to burn it all to the ground and start from scratch, which I did. And I started in network marketing. And so I say I've done everything except for sell a physical product. I've done the blog, the influencing, the affiliate marketing, the network marketing, I own my own business. And so I kind of have done it all to get to where I am today. And the social media strategist and Her Hive social agency stemmed from someone telling me in the midst of an anxiety and depression attack that I would be a good life coach. And I really laughed at them because I was like, are you kidding? Do you know what's going on in my life right now? But they had some good points, right? And so I explored it. I went down that path. I became a life coach. Then I became I realized that all of my clients were business owners, but I was like, there's no way I'm a business coach. Like, there's no way I could be a business coach. But I realized that all of my business owner clients were asking me about social media.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when I finally was like, oh, I know where I have been this entire time and where I am now. Like, this just makes total sense.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how this whole thing got born.
I love that. I feel like such a common thread with all the guests I have on is it's people learning to evolve with their experiences and continue to incorporate what they've learned into their passion. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you have, life coaching so you can relate to your clients and you can understand a little bit of the psychology behind that. But then you have, blogging experience, you have the influencer experience, and then you have all of the everything that you learned from all the social media platforms. And it
Yeah.
just combined into this really cool agency that you built. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of been like a hodgepodge of a million different things,
Yeah.
and tiny little shifts and tiny little pivots all along the way, just getting me closer and closer to where I need to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When did you start Her Hive Social?
Her Hive Social is about to turn 1 year old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna
That's
have a birthday party and
exciting.
everything.
I love it. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So I feel like when people think of those who are involved in social media and involved in um, marketing, they assume that you have to be an extrovert to even get your foot through the door.
Mm.
What do you think about that?
100% disagree. I am an introvert. By heart, I am first and foremost an introverted person, and it shocks everyone. Even when they meet me at events, they're like, "There's no way you're an introvert." And I'm like, "Trust me, I am dying on the inside right now. It's fine." Like, I just feel like my soul is burning down. But no, really, like, you do not have to be an extrovert, especially in the day and age of social media, because
Mhm.
that is what has really unlocked this whole other side of the internet, that people who do want to stay home and don't really want to go to events or do anything like that, they can stay in the comforts of their own bubble and reach the whole entire world.
Yeah.
Like, that is what is so cool about the social media world, is you don't have to be going to in-person events or going to parties or any of that stuff. Like, I think of like network marketing, the big thing was like you would have a party at your house and like you would invite all your friends and they would look at all of the stuff, whether it was books or skincare or whatever it was. And now you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You
Mhm.
can do it all online, and you can
Yep.
do it at 9 p.m. or 5 a.m. or
Mhm.
noon. Like, it doesn't matter. It's on your own time.
Yeah, and something that I love too is, like you said, there's a sense of community it's a little different than like interpersonal relationships, but you can build that sense of community online, just like you've done
Mhm.
with your
Yeah.
with your group that you have. I think there's always good advice, and it's almost like when you have people coming together that are um, they're within a certain group or they're looking for the same thing, you're automatically connected anyways. And so the relationship
Yeah.
builds from there. And so I think a lot of people are catching on right now, like you said, that like, no, I don't have to go out. I can build my persona, I can build my brand, I can run my business from home. I can still make these meaningful connections and it doesn't have to be as scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can hang out with like-minded people that do feel like a safe place, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see this really, really big in the author world right now, because book talk and bookstagram are huge, right? People
Yeah.
love that. But these readers and these authors have kind of a similar thing of most of them are introverts and they would much rather be sitting at home reading a book or
Yep.
writing a book, but they have found this big community where they can lean on each other and
Mm-hmm.
reach so many people.
Yeah.
Like, what a time to be an
Yeah.
author right now.
Truly, I know. And it's so funny because I see things where, like new book releases, people are so excited for the authors to go and to be there and to meet the author. And the author's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to,
Yeah.
this is not my thing.
Yeah,
So,
there are so many authors that are like that are like, "I don't wanna do a
yeah.
book signing."
Yes. So you mentioned how you help entrepreneurs and specifically parentpreneurs. So let's talk about how you help your clients kind of balance um, the busyness of parenthood and maintaining an online presence.
Yeah, so being a parent myself, I realized that when I was making the most money in my business, I was never hanging out with my family. Like,
Mhm.
I was taking calls during dinner time, and I was staying up super late, so I wasn't hanging out with my husband after the kids went to bed, or I was sacrificing weekends to do photo
Yeah.
shoots and things like that, and I was just spending a lot of time spinning my wheels because I felt like I always had to be on.
Yeah.
And so I realized in slowing down myself and streamlining my social media strategies, I realized that I can still show up on social media
Mhm.
when I want, where I want, in the capacity that I want, and I don't have to sacrifice that time with my family.
Yeah.
And it was all about creating different systems and a more simplified strategy. And really, when you hear like the gurus and it's like, well, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. And everybody takes that so literally and they put all of it into play.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't work. When I'm like, no, some things are going to work for you, some things are not. So,
Mhm.
how we help is we can take it off your hands for you if you want, right? Like if you're at that point in your business, we'll just do it for you.
Yeah.
Or B, I strategize with my clients to identify what actually works for them and their business and what is a waste of time. Because there's a
Okay.
lot of really good advice out there, but it's not for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, and with different personalities and with different workloads and different lifestyles, that's I think you're exactly on point. People there's a lot of people out there they'll say, "Oh, you have to do exactly this every day to get viral," or, "Oh, just do this and watch your business soar."
Hmm.
But it's not taking into account all of those variables, and so I think it's really great that, like, you're willing to meet the client where they're at, and you're willing to help them assess and then move forward from there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the biggest thing that I think a lot of social media managers are great at just taking on the workload. And
Yeah.
then there's business coaches and content strategists who are great at, let me tell you what worked for me. But my vision or my goal is not what's going to work, not what's worked for me or what's worked for my other client. I want to know what's going to work for you.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, sometimes that's going to take some trial and error, right? It's going to
Yeah.
be auditing what you have done in the past, what you resonate with, and how you can move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I love one thing that I really love about your approach to what you do is, like you said, you simplify things. I'm in the marketing world and the social media world as well. And I think a lot of times it gets really heavy when you're taking in all this information and you're like, well, I could do this here, I could do that there. And just even as of, the last few months, seeing like your tips and things on social media, because I love how you throw tips out there, or you'll do tutorials and stuff like that. It's very accessible to people that are in the game and people that have not been in the game before. And I think that's definitely it's awesome.
Yeah, my goal too is not to preach to just one type of social media user because there are the people who've never opened the Instagram app before or who've never even posted a video. They've
Mhm.
only done static post or graphics. And so there are people who are brand new to the game, like you said, and then there's people who have been in the world for a while. They know the marketing, they know the copyright, they know all the sales tricks,
Mhm.
but did they know about the most recent update? And so that's
Yep.
kind of where I'm like, I try to help everybody and meet them
Mhm.
where they're at.
Yeah.
And I also like to test things out. That's the other
Yeah.
thing is like people will be like, well, it didn't work for you. And I'm like, that's because it's not great for me, right? Like
Mhm.
I tested it, I tried it, but this is how it
Yeah.
went for me.
Yeah.
So it's a fun creative experience. And I think that's
Mhm.
part of the reason why I like social media is I get to play around. It's like one big
Mhm.
playground.
Yeah. I think so too. It gives you a chance to create your own brand or your persona, tailor it the way you want, and then just continue to evolve, because nobody said that you have to. I mean, it's important to maintain brand integrity, but like you said, test stuff out, do different things, look into different niches, and it makes it exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about, let's say that there is a budding entrepreneur, somebody that's new to the game, they've got a storefront or whatever set up, and people are telling them, you need to get on social media. You're great. We love it. But they're too overwhelmed with the aspect of even touching it. What are some one or a few beginner tips that you're going to tell them?
So if your goal down the road is to grow and to expand, and you do eventually want to be in all the places, you have this big goal that, like, yeah, eventually you're going to have a social media manager who's going to just handle it all. The first thing that I would do is set up accounts on all of the different places with your name or your business name. So if you're a personal brand, brand your name. If you have a business name, brand your business name. And what I mean is, you can see like at Tyson, at Her Hive, like, go get that on all of the different platforms. You may never ever use it, but it's much better to have it and own it than to let somebody else take it over.
Yeah.
So with that though, there's like, okay, well then I have to be on every app. It's like, no, you can sign up for TikTok one time, create your account, and then delete the app and never look at it again. You don't have to do that until you are ready. But I would say start with where you are comfortable, right? If that is Facebook, start on Facebook. If that's on Instagram, start on Instagram, and just dip your toes in. Go with the flow, do what feels good. And the more you learn, the more comfortable you get with it, the more you will grow and expand. And it's eventually going to get to the point where you're like, oh, Instagram's a piece of cake. I'm going to go try Threads now. And so then you add Threads into the mix, and you just kind of add on when it's time and when you are ready.
Yeah, that's super important. I think, just kind of taking it in stride, because like you said, I feel like there's like a new platform every day, and so it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
I like that you're encouraging people to take it in stride. Something that caught my attention was, a few minutes ago, you were talking about how in the beginning of your journey, you got into Pinterest, and that was something that you became familiar with. What's the advantage of somebody to use Pinterest as a social media marketing platform?
So it's actually important to understand that Pinterest is not a social media platform. Pinterest and YouTube are search engines. They're search consoles. So think about it like Google or Safari or Firefox, where you're going to get on and you're going to search for something.
Okay.
That's how Pinterest and YouTube work. YouTube is trying to get a little bit more into the social media aspect, because they've got like shorts, they've got stories, they've got different places that you can interact and comment. Pinterest is still very much like you search for something. There's not really a community that you build on Pinterest.
Yeah.
But I think that's why a lot of people like it, is because they can search for one thing and immediately find hundreds of what they are looking for. They can save ideas. They can go back to them. It's just a very user-friendly platform, and it always has been. And so I think Pinterest is a whole world of its own.
Yeah.
I will say there are different tactics and different strategies for a product-based business versus a service-based business versus a brick and mortar business. If you have a brick and mortar, Pinterest might not be the best option for you unless you are shipping nationwide, worldwide. But if you have a service base, like a digital service base, right? Again, if you are like a lash artist or a massage therapist or something, Pinterest might not be the greatest unless you're trying to grow your following by giving free tips, tricks, things like that, and getting people over to your email list.
Yeah.
But Pinterest is a very high converting platform when you put the time and energy into it.
Okay. Because I have seen that, like, you can upload your own pins. I've only ever used it to, like, I'll make like a board and I'll just put ideas in it. But I have seen that there's the function where you can actually like upload your own pins, and then people can share that other places. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So all of the pins that are on Pinterest generated from a user in the beginning, right? So there are people on there who use it for ads and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
but somebody had to put that on there, and it's usually somebody who has a blog or a website. If you have your own domain, that is much better than if you were just to link your social media accounts,
Mm-hmm.
which you can do now, by the way. Pinterest
Wow.
just released this where you can link your Instagram account. So every time you post on Instagram, it posts on Pinterest for you. I don't know
Oh,
if I
that's
like it
cool.
yet or not, but it is a cool feature. But yeah, you want to have your own website. So if you have a website and a product or service to sell, you can create and generate your own pins, and that will float around in the Pinterest world. So when somebody were to search for what you specifically have to offer, say you're an email marketer, they can go in there, look up email tips. Your pins are going to pop up and show to them. They can go directly to your website. It kind of bypasses the whole social media world,
Mm-hmm.
or it can direct them back to your social media.
Yeah.
The expansiveness of Pinterest is amazing in that regard.
Okay, awesome. That's interesting. Seems like a really cool tool. At the moment, what is your favorite tool personally for you to use? So it could be a search engine or social media. What do you like right now?
Mm. Yeah. So, okay, I'll break this down in a couple different ways. Platforms, what's working for me is Facebook first and foremost, and then Instagram. It's where I spend the most of my time is Facebook and Instagram. So I prefer those two, and I do get a bigger ROI from Facebook. But tools wise, I love I have two video editing apps that I love. One is CapCut and the other one is InShot. And this is just to edit your reels and shorts and things like that you are going to put on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it may be. And then the other one, and this is going to sound so dumb, but it's the Google Suite, because that includes everything from my email to Google Documents to Sheets,
Yeah.
the Drive. Like, it's all in one place. It's all connected, and it is amazing. I'm like, I
Yeah.
can go to it's a one-stop shop that's on my computer, on my phone, and everywhere else I
Mm-hmm.
need it.
Yeah, that's what I love about the Google Suite is you can access it anywhere. Like you can type up a document on your laptop and just pull it right up on your phone. Yeah, I think it's really great. So thank you for the tips. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about success now. So right now, what does it mean to you? And then how has that kind of evolved over time, or has it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought at one point success meant, money, right? Like having a lot of money, being able to, provide for my family or buy things that I wouldn't normally buy. But over the years, my success has turned into my clients' successes. And
Mm,
not necessarily in the way that like I helped them win, but seeing them have these aha moments. So it's really awesome. I have a friend who she's actually not a client anymore. She worked with me last October. So it's been almost a year since we worked together. And she will still message me and be like, oh my gosh, look at my analytics. Oh my gosh, look at my sales. Like, she just sent me a text the other day that was a screenshot of her sales last year to her sales this year. And she had like a 400% increase in sales. And I was like, this is amazing. I did
mm-hmm.
not do that. She did that. But I felt it as a success and a win for my business because I was able to connect with her and I was able to help her unlock just a few things that would tweak the way that she sold on social media. And
Okay.
now, thanks to social media, she's growing, she's getting better every day, and she's making way, way more money in her business. And so I think that for me is success. I mean, yes, obviously the money would be a great indicator of success, but I think it's more so the impact that you leave behind.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. That's great. I think it's important to that our definition of success evolves over time, and I like that you clearly have a heart for helping people and seeing them grow. And I'm finding that a lot within just within the people that I've met that lately that are focusing on growth mindset. It's this common thread that there's room at the table for everybody. Like,
Yeah.
I want to watch you succeed just as much as I want to succeed, if not more. And I think
Yeah.
that's great.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because I actually had someone comment. I had posted in a Facebook group somewhere that I wanted more friends who were business owners so that we could go to networking events and we can hang out and we could talk business and things like that. And I had this lady comment and she was like, so do you actually want friends or do you just want people to business or people to network with in your business? And I was like, I thought for a minute really hard about it. And I said, I want both. Like, I want somebody who understands it and I want somebody to network with because just like you and I, like we met through networking. And so when you network and you meet people, they may not become a client. They may not become like your bestest friend in the world, but they may become a great referral partner, or they may one day be a business partner. Or you may collaborate on a podcast, right? Like there's so many different possibilities. And I think when people think networking, they think that exchange of money. It's like, oh, well, if I meet you, we're going to exchange money. And that's not the case. Like when you do that, you are expanding and growing. And that's like with social media. Like if you think about it, you could have 300 followers on Instagram and only 30 of them buy from you. That's 30 people that just bought your product. That's huge, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about the statistics wise or the percentage wise, like that's not a very big percentage, right? And so it's just funny to me when it's like a lot of people think everything is an exchange of cash flow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I have cultivated some of the greatest friendships that I have today over networking because there's, when you are in the same space with like-minded people and suddenly you see that, oh, this person's an entrepreneur as well. Oh, we have so many things in common. This person gets it. It's easier to make those type of friendships, depending on what point of life you're at. So, yeah, I completely agree. Speaking of networking, though, you are not only great at networking behind the screen, but in person as well. So let's talk about your networking events that you put on.
Oh, yeah. This is funny. I took like two extremes of the spectrum, right? Like I do all of the online stuff. I could live behind a computer 24/7 and be totally fine. But I saw the impact of in-person networking that is on a different level of networking online. If you wanted to strictly network online, that's totally fine. You will find some of the best, most amazing people and never have to leave your house. But I have stepped out of my comfort zone because remember I'm an introvert and I started helping with networking events and they were great. They were dandy. They were awesome. But I saw a need for different locations, different vibes, different themes. And some of them felt a little too stuffy and corporate. And I was like, we're all entrepreneurs. We don't want to be in a corporate job. That's why we're entrepreneurs. And so I started creating these events and it started with the social soiree, which is this like swanky dinner where we bring a catered dinner, we bring speakers, but then it's this networking event where you're meeting other people who are in business and it's amazing the connections that are made. And so I took that. It was so amazing. It was so fun. I decided to duplicate it. So we do a couple soirees a year. And then I also started branching into other types of networking events as well. And I did a queen bee brunch where it was a brunch in my backyard and it was
That was so much fun.
beautiful. You actually came to that one and it was like, it just fills my heart to see people sitting at a table, having a conversation and getting to know people because the conversations weren't all strictly about business. There were some, and there were tons of conversations happening around that. But what I noticed is people were also inquiring about their family lives or what they like to do in their hobbies or what books they were reading. And that's when I realized this is something truly special.
Yeah.
Networking doesn't have to be strictly about business.
No, not at all. And I mean, to that effect, it's like you meet people. So at the brunch, I went and I met a ton of people, and because I was able to humanize them and we were able to have conversations about our lives and our families and our hobbies, I'm more likely on the now it's the business side of things to refer them out to people, right?
Yeah.
So I trust them, I got to know them, and now it's like several people that I met at that brunch. Somebody's like, "Oh, hey, do you know anybody that does this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just met somebody. Here's their info." So I think
Yeah.
it's a great yeah, it's a great way to network. Let's plug your social soiree coming up. Are tickets still available to that?
Yes, temporarily.
Okay.
We
Okay.
have only a few left, and we do have to close the ticket sales for that soon. But
Okay.
the social soiree, this one is even bigger and better than the last one. And so I'm really excited. We have 3 awesome speakers, and I say that, and I'm one of them, which is so weird to
That's
like
great.
toot my own horn. But it actually stemmed from one of my speakers at my last soiree in January. I just emceed the night, right? Like I
Mhm.
just introduced people, facilitated the connection, so to
Yeah.
speak. And he came up to me afterwards and he's like, "Why did you not speak?" And I was like, "Because it's not my time. It's not my time to shine." And he said, and like, excuse my French, he said, "That's bullshit." And I was
There we
like,
go.
"What are you talking about?" And he's like, "This is your event. This is totally your time to shine. Like you have a story. You need to tell
Yeah.
it. You have to tell people what your story is." And I've always been a connector. I've always been like, well, I facilitate the connections. I don't really talk to people, right?
Mhm.
Introvert here. And but he pushed me out of my comfort zone. And so this is like my first official time delivering like a full-blown speech. And I don't think I've
Yay.
talked about that enough. I don't think a lot of people realize that like this is my first like actual speaking event.
Yeah.
Everything else has been like workshop. Like I've done tons of workshops. I've done events. I've told my stories in little snippets here and there. But this is the first
Mhm.
time that I'm doing like a full-blown talk speech, I guess
Yeah.
you could say. And I brought in some other awesome people who have some really cool stories that I just
Mhm.
cannot wait for people to hear and to meet them. And my heart is so freaking excited for it. I
Yeah.
can't even.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm super excited for this next event, and yeah, the connections that you make and just hearing people speak too. It's going to be exciting. I love how everybody there has, a common mindset. We're all there to meet each other and to make those
Mhm.
connections, and so that takes a lot of the pressure off because you're all there for the same reason. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. You something interesting about the soiree that you have coming up is there's a theme to it. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. I was just going
Yeah.
to say, it's an excuse to get dressed up.
Okay.
And the first social soiree did not have a theme. It was just come have dinner, come hang out with us. It was great. And then I did the Queen Bee brunch, which was a sundresses, brunch and mimosas, very bee like honey themed. And I was like, this was fun. I'm gonna theme my next soiree. And so I decided to go with black and honey because my whole brand is about bees and honey.
Mhm.
It's a modified version of the black tie event. So you're getting dressed up, you're wearing a gorgeous outfit or handsome outfit, whatever you want. And it's excuse to get dressed up. And I actually
Mhm.
had somebody who said they wanted to come, but that they didn't want to get dressed up. And she's like, "So I haven't bought a ticket yet." And I'm like, "I don't care. You can come in your sweatpants. Make
Yeah.
them black sweatpants and you're good to
Yeah.
go."
Yep.
um, but I think that but it was fun because I was like, I want to do a black and honey themed and
Mhm.
just really kind of play on my branding and the sophistication of the night. And
Mhm.
so it really is going to be super fun. But
Yeah.
if you want to show up in your sweatpants, by all means, show up in your sweatpants. I do not care.
I don't know. We'll see what happens with me. We'll see. It could be a toss up. I
Depends on the
love
day,
it.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. What mood I'm in. I
Yeah.
love it so much. that's the thing about themes, and I noticed this with the Queen Bee brunch as well, is you alluded before to the fact that networking events can, like, sometimes it's just stuffy. Like,
Mhm.
we're all entrepreneurs anyways, like, we're all stressed out, and so we wanna take some of that away, and I love that there's a theme because it kinda gives you something to be excited about, to focus on, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So that's what I love about your events. I think it's really cool that you're incorporating that into the whole scheme of it.
Yeah. I'm excited because, like I said, we're about to turn 1, so we're thinking, like, full-on birthday party,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
We have maybe some Halloween stuff coming up, maybe
Mhm.
some Thanksgiving things, but also possibly another birthday, and my birthday's in December.
Okay.
So we're there are more events in the works, and I have to theme them all. I can't
Yeah.
have a regular, like, lunch and learn, come in your blazer and suit type
Yeah.
event. That's just way too boring for me.
Yeah. You gotta spice it up. I like it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's so great. Let's see. Um, so we've kind of talked about where you've been and where you're at currently. Let's talk about, well, side note, I'm going to put all of your socials, all of your links, and everything in the description. So anybody who's interested in your events, just check that out. Go follow Lynsey, and you can keep tabs on her next event. So, um, yeah. But now that we've talked about past, present, let's talk about the future.
Mm.
What's next for you? What are some of your future goals and aspirations?
Oh, yeah. I like I said, future events.
Yes.
That is one for sure. But eventually, like, I would love to I would love to be able to sponsor other people's events. I would love to be able to sponsor my son's baseball team. I would love to be able to give back to my community. Um, I am currently in a place in my business where I still have to think of myself first
Yeah.
and then my team, which eventually I want to flip the script on that. Like, I don't care what's happening in for like how much I'm profiting off of it. I want to make sure that my team is being taken care of. And so my whole goal is to get to that point where I don't necessarily have to worry about what event is coming up next or what offer is coming up next. Like, it all just flows seamlessly. I know I probably will never have that, like, perfect seamless business because every time in business, like, we once we level up, it's like a whole new set of challenges every
Yeah.
time that you level up in your business.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just leveling up to that next level, I guess
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
it's hard to describe.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's always growing and being willing to just kind of sit in that uncomfortableness as you're continuing to grow. But I think that's really
Yeah.
good that you want more of that in your future because that's how we get better. So I
Yeah.
think that's great. What do you want to tell the listener, which could fit so many different personas, um, about success? What are your words, tips, advice, insight on success?
I think it's defining what success is for yourself and
Mhm.
not playing into the vanity metrics of it. Like, speaking purely on social media and social media marketing is, I think a lot of people get stuck in the idea of going viral or getting 10,000 followers, 100,000 followers. And you see, like, when people do the posts and they have, like, the balloons and they're like, I got 100,000 followers. And it's like, it seems like a milestone that they reached, right?
Mhm.
But there's so much more that goes into that. And if you are running a business, right? Your business's numbers, not your social media numbers, are what really truly matter. And that's where you should judge your success. Because I've always said 100,000 followers does not equal $100,000.
Yeah.
So you can have 500 followers and make $500,000. Like,
Mm.
it's totally possible. And so when it comes to defining success for yourself, whether it's social media or in business, don't play into the vanity metrics that you'll see everyone else like, oh, I got X amount of views. Oh, I got X amount of followers. Like, cool, bro. Great. That's good for you.
Yeah, so true. No, I think that's right. And like you said, there's just such a push today. There's emphasis on the followers and the numbers of, that regarding social media. And so I think it's a good, refreshing reminder that that doesn't always correlate to success in your business. So,
yeah, there's this very famous story of a girl on TikTok who she went viral a couple times, actually, not just once, but a couple times, grew to like 1 million followers. And then she like staged an in-person event and not a single person showed up to her
no.
event. And so then somebody was interviewing her and they're like, well, how much money did you make in the last year? And she was like, what do you mean? How much money did I make? It was like, she had 1 million followers on TikTok, never made a dime, never had a single person show up to her event. And she had 1 million followers and she's been
Yeah.
viral multiple times. So it just goes to show that like, just because somebody goes viral 1, 2, 3 times does not
Mm-hmm.
mean that they are making money off of those
Yeah.
viral posts.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's such good insight. And you have shared great insight today. Just overall, I think this is super helpful for anybody who has wanted to get into social media or who currently is and doesn't really know what's next for them. Any business owner for sure. So I really appreciate you coming on and just kind of sharing your journey with me.
I appreciate you and thank you for giving me this platform to be able to share my story. It's really awesome that you do this for people.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I'll link all your stuff. And yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I will see you at the social soiree.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you.
I know. I am too. Okay, thanks, Lynsey. See ya. Hey guys, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I love how much insight Lynsey offered, and I hope that you gained some value from it. If you could subscribe to the podcast, that would be amazing. Whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, whatever streaming platform you're listening on, that would be great. And if you could leave a review or share the podcast with friends and family, that would be amazing too. It helps me to continue to create content, and that would be awesome. So I will keep all of Lynsey's links in the description and her socials and all that fun stuff. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. As always, keep striving, keep sharing, and keep succeeding. Bye, guys.